This 20-minute class is designed to work on Hanumānāsana, your front split, also known as monkey pose, with a variety of asanas to work on hamstring and quadricep flexibility. A yoga block is recommended for this class. Roll out your mat to begin. Kia ora and welcome to Asana with Jess. Making sure you have a yoga block handy, we will start today's class in a wide-legged child's pose, taking knees as wide as the mat, toes together, pressing back, hands come in front, forehead meets the mat. This is the class that I genuinely do in my own practice to warm up to the splits. Slowly lift your torso back up and take the shins to be parallel to the long edge of your mat. Toes pointing outwards, come down onto your elbows and press back into the hips. The further you press back, the deeper the stretch, warming up the groin. Lifting your torso back up and shuffling the knees inward, hip distance apart. Tuck the toes under, engage the core and lift the knees off the mat. Press the hips to the sky, keeping the knees bent for our very first downward dog. When you are ready, extend the knees and pedal the feet out, warming up the hamstrings. Bending one knee at a time, taking this movement slow and steady, building some heat in the legs. And release both heels towards the mat, pressing the shoulder blades together for a full downward dog. Right leg rises, three-legged dog. Bend both knees, right foot comes to the back of the left foot. Extend back into three-legged dog. Both knees bend, tap that foot, extend three-legged dog. Knee tucks into chest, this time place the knee between the hands, bending into it and coming up to our crescent lunge. Resting your hands on that knee. Hands come down to frame the front foot, extend the right knee for our pyramid pose. Really pulling the right hip back and pushing the left hip forward. Gently bend back into the right knee, place your hands slightly in front of it and lift the left foot off the mat for our standing split. And return your left foot to the mat, crescent lunge. Lower the left knee, untuck the left toes and press into the right knee for a low lunge. Left hand comes to the mat. Use your right hand to push that right knee out towards the side and tuck it back in. Push out, rolling onto the side of your foot, and pull it back in, mobilizing the hip joint. For an added stretch, keeping the right knee rolled out, bend the left knee, reach around with your right hand and hold on to the left toes. Continue to press into the right knee, opening up through the hips and deepening the quadricep stretch. Lower that foot and press back, extending through the right leg, flexing the toes for our half split. Once again, pull the right hip back and press the left hip forward and point the toes. Bend into the right knee once more, tuck the left toes under and press back into a downward dog. Repeating on the other side, left leg rises, three-legged dog. Bend through both knees, left foot touches the back of the right foot, extend, three-legged dog. Both knees bend, tap that foot, extend, three-legged dog. Left knee into chest, and this time placing that foot between the hands, bending into the left knee, coming up into our crescent lunge. Resting both hands on the bent knee. Both hands frame the foot, extend the left knee for our pyramid pose. This time pulling the left hip back and pressing the right hip forward. Bend back into the left knee, bring the hands in front of that foot, and lift the right foot off the mat for our standing splits, really pulling the legs apart. And release that right foot back onto the mat, crescent lunge. Lower the right knee, untuck the toes, and press yourself into that left knee for a low lunge. Right hand rests on the mat and use your left hand to pull that knee inwards and press it out, rolling onto the side of your foot. Pulling it inwards and pressing it out, warming up the hip joint. For an added stretch, keeping the left knee rolled out, lift the right foot in towards you. Reach around with your left hand and hold onto the toes, pulling it in. This is quite a deep quadricep stretch. Release when you're ready. Press the hips back and extend through the left knee, flexing the toes for our half split. Remembering to pull the left hip back and press the right hip forward. Point the toes and press back into the left knee, tuck the right foot under and press back to downward dog. Gaze towards the hands and take 4 to 6 small steps towards them, coming into a forward fold. Taking a moment here to feel the stretch down the backs of the legs, bending one knee at a time to target each hamstring. Press the right foot back, low lunge, followed by the left foot coming into your plank, taking a chaturanga into upward facing dog. Pressing the hips to the sky, untucking the toes for downward dog. Right foot rises, three-legged dog, bending into the knee, placing that foot between the hands, extending the right knee for pyramid pose. Bend into the right knee, lower the left knee to the mat, untucking the toes and pressing forward into the right knee, low lunge. Press the hips back, extend the right knee, flex the toes for half splits. Scoot the right foot forward and the left foot back. Use a yoga block beneath your pelvis to help support you. Extend as much as you can into your splits. It usually takes me a few times of doing this before I can get the splits. Play around with what level you need your block on to support your practice. Dipping your head towards the right knee 3 times in a wave-like motion. And slowly scooting the right leg in, coming into a wide-legged child's pose to release. Roll through to all fours, tuck the toes under, press the hips to the sky, downward dog. This time left foot rises, three-legged dog, bend through the knee, placing that foot between the hands and extending the left knee for pyramid pose. Bend back into the left knee and release the right knee to the mat, pressing into the left knee for a low lunge. And pressing back into the hips, extending the left leg, flexing that foot for half split. Begin to scoot the left foot forward and the right foot back. Take your yoga block where it is needed and try to extend into a full splits. Really try and engage the legs by squeezing really tight. You would think that relaxing your legs would help you in this pose, but actually actively engaging them helps you get so much closer. Doing the same movement on this side, that wave-like motion towards that knee. And slowly scoot the left leg back in, taking another wide-legged child's pose to reset. We will flow through the same asanas 2 more times on each side. Hopefully by the 3rd time you will notice a big difference. Roll through to all fours and this time step the right foot forward, pressing into that right knee for a low lunge. And press the hips back, extending the right leg, pointing the toes this time for half split. Wiggle the right leg forward and the left foot back, using your block as needed for a full split. It does help to have a slightly slippery surface, so if you have a really grippy yoga mat, try and roll it back a little bit. Shuffle the right leg back in and come into another child's pose. Moving to the other side, come back up onto all fours and this time press the left knee forward, bending into it for a low lunge. Really sinking through the hips. And shift the hips back, extend through the left leg, pointing the toes for our half split. Begin to shuffle the left foot forward and the right foot back, coming into your full split again. Using your yoga block to aid you. Remembering to square off the hips, turning towards your left leg to help with this. And shuffle the left foot in, taking another wide-legged child's pose. Roll through to all fours to do these poses one more time. Stepping the right foot forward, bending into that knee, low lunge. Making sure you can still see your toes over the knee. And pressing back through the hips, extending through the right knee. Shuffling the right foot forward, the left foot back, coming into your full split. Really squaring off the hips by turning towards your right foot. And start scooting the right foot back, coming into a last child's pose. Roll through to all fours again. For our last repeat. This time, left foot steps forward, bend into the knee, low lunge. And press back into the hips, extending through the left knee for our half split. Shuffling the left foot forward and the right foot back, coming into the last full splits. And shuffle the left foot in. This time, crossing the legs and coming onto your sit bones. Bring the legs out in front of you and gently roll yourself down onto your back. Bend the knees, bring the feet into the sky and grab onto the outsides of them with your hands, making sure elbows are on the inside of the knees, bringing the feet out wide for our happy baby pose. A lovely release after all of the deep stretching we have done in this class. Point the toes together and release the feet to the mat. Knees out wide for our reclined bound angle pose. Really using this last asana to relax the body and recuperate. You may choose to place one hand on your heart and one on your belly, your puku. feeling your inhalations and exhalations. Start to bring life back into the body, perhaps by wiggling the fingers and toes or opening the eyes. Slowly roll yourself onto your side and make your way up into a seated position. I want you to remember that the splits will not happen overnight. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and sometimes can feel like you're not progressing, but you definitely are. I find using a mirror to see how close I am to the floor helps to motivate me, while taking progress pics can show you how far you have come. Sending you love and light, Namihi.